gas is still in there. The route over which we are about to travel is one of the world's oldest right-of-ways, given to the Strasburg Railroad by an act of the Pennsylvania legislature on June 9, 1832. For over 150 years, our little railroad has been serving the community of Strasburg. This is definitely not an operation that sprang up yesterday. Many generations of passengers have traveled the road to paradise before you folks boarded our coaches today. Takes place. All the restoration work, all the welding, all the machine work, all the car fabrication and repair, all takes place in the building on the right. If you want to visit those places, you can do that on the 12 o'clock shop tour. You'd have to get back to the station before 12 o'clock and buy your shop tour tickets. As soon as we get back, and then you'll be able to make the 12 o'clock shop tour. See inside all those buildings, see what's going on. On the running left is our freight yard. It's hard to see with all this equipment here. Freight for the companies in the area. They bring in freight cars, we unload them onto their trucks. Also on the running left, you'll see they're starting to harvest tobacco. That is tobacco, those big green leafy plants. The Amish grow a lot of tobacco, and it's a cash crop for the Amish. Of course, it's corn on the right. Now look up there on the hill, you see a neat row of little cabooses. They belong to the railroad. Stockholders, and it was back in 1958 when 24 dedicated railroad buffs purchased this very line in order to save from bankruptcy and abandonment. Now they organized in a very unusual corporate fashion, unusual that they had one president and 23 vice presidents. They all donated their time, their money, and a lot of hard work strictly as a labor of love, and all for the fun of road. Small field down on the right with the farmer down there is raking hay. ESBENSHADE Turkey Farm. That is America's oldest commercially operated turkey farm. No, it may not look like it right now, but it is a very busy place. And I can tell you, friends, it's particularly busy in November and December, but it's not a very good time to be a turkey. ESBENSHADE crossing is next. Each to restore to their present condition. Locomotives cost about $750,000, and we'll spend $25,000 a year on a locomotive just in order to keep it safe for a while. We're all very proud of the work we do. It's all accomplished through ticket sales. We can take some comfort in knowing when you buy a ticket on our railroad, ride the train, you've only paid for this train ride one time. Just missing a pumpkin patch on the running left. Signing of the Declaration of Independence. That was originally the home of Cornelius Marie. Cornelius Marie was a wagon maker. The settlers heading west and stopped right there at that house. Wagons, Pennsylvania long rifles. Today's the home, which each year hosts the amazing Maze Maze. And the maze itself will be on the running right. On both sides of the tracks. I see the maze meister up in his tower, and he also will help the maze when they get lost. Sometimes in the maze you'll see people waving flags at the train, waving their hands at the train. That only signifies one thing, folks. Those people are hopelessly lost in that corner.
How about you? Would you like to come together for a Strasburg photo?
Lots of fun and adventure here at Crest for the whole family. We're going to all stay here and walk here one time. It's not time to go home yet. By the farmer that lives here, so there is an additional charge. It's not going to the railroad. Cherry Hill crossing, Cherry Hill.
Train and siding coming up.
Now we're in for a little treat tonight. There's a film crew working the other train. They will be on our running left-hand side. We are entering the passing siding at Grouse Picnic Road, and that other train will be on the running left-hand side of the train. Now keep in mind, folks, this is one of the very few places left in the entire world. That's not an exaggeration, in the entire world. Two passenger trains pulled by steam locomotives don't pass each other on a regular schedule. And also, because they're filming for a film crew, if you look at the people that are on the train, they're dressed in 1860s attire. Could be a Kodak moment. Have your cameras ready. Old number 475, built 1906 by the Baltimore Locomotive Works. 475 was originally a freight locomotive in the Norfolk and Western Railway hauling long freight trains of coal.
Somebody wants to go to lunch.
We'll just stop here briefly. We don't let passengers off as we travel in this direction. However, on our return trip, as I said, I'll be making the announcement. We'll be letting folks off on our way back. We'll be on that track that the number 2, the extra is sitting on right now. Now take a look out the windows on the running right, just ahead of the train, to see a big white corner down there in the valley. That's typical Lancaster County Amish farm. Neat and clean, but as the Amish say, it's very clean. There are no carpets, no curtains, no electric lights, no radio, television, telephone, definitely no automobile. These are a peaceful and prosperous people contributing greatly to the agricultural economy of Lancaster County, and we are proud to have them as our neighbors. Now, as you look down towards the farm, look out beyond the farm. Off in the distance, you'll see a hill. And on the other side of that hill, used to run a narrow gauge railway, the Lancaster, Oxford, and Southern. Some call them the LO&S, others call them the Little, Old, and Slow. Well, with a name like that, it was no surprise when they filed for bankruptcy and abandonment shortly after the turn of the 20th century. People who live in this valley claim that if an engineer stops at Carpenter's Crossing here and blows the whistle, they claim they can still hear the ghost of old LO&S number 6 out there riding the rails in search of a station that's no longer there. So as the engineer slowly brings old number 90 to a stop, I want everybody on the train to listen quietly. And maybe that old ghost, just maybe that old ghost will answer us back today. I can also tell you while we're slowly coming to a stop, that's a one-room Amish schoolhouse right down there in the valley. Brand new. Amish children go to school from kindergarten, or 1st grade to 8th grade. Okay, listen. Alright, who said echo? That's no echo, folks. We pay that old ghost $27.50 a day, and he sits in the valley and blows the whistle for us whenever we need it. And we know he's out there because he keeps cashing all those checks we keep mailing out. Speaking of the dearly departed, when your car crosses the road just up ahead, look to the running left. And on the little hill there, you'll see a stone wall. Well, within that stone wall is a graveyard, the oldest in Lancaster County. Therein is buried Marie Marie. She was a French Huguenot who fled France in the very early 1700s in order to escape political persecution. She and her followers in deep religious devotion, exactly as their forefathers did when they arrived from Germany and Switzerland over 275 years ago. Nothing has changed really. Their style of dress, their mode of travel, their entire way of life is much the same today as it was 2 3/4 centuries ago. Lemon Place Junction is next where the main line of the Amtrak, or main line of Strasburg, meets the main line of Amtrak. Short distance ahead, our tracks occur sharply to the left. We come alongside the tracks that runs the Pennsylvania Railroad's main line from New York to Chicago. The interchange track between our two railroads is used to switch to our freight car. Now when you get down to Lemon Place, there is a Lemon Place grove down here. This is for train watching. This grove here is for train watching. You'll be able to get off in the middle of the train and walk over to it if you want to. But it's mostly for adults and mostly for people who like to watch Amtrak trains go by. Now this location, Lemon Place Junction in Paradise, has a lot of history to be told. It is the original route of the Philadelphia and Columbia Railroad, which became part of the mighty Pennsylvania Railroad back in 1857. This was an important stop on the Pennsy with more than 30 trains a day scheduled for 1898. 4 mainline tracks remained here until 1961. And even today, more than a dozen trains still pass by daily, but they don't even slow down. In the earliest days of pulled by horse, this area was a horse changing station. And where the lumber company stands today, used to stand Henry Lemus Hotel. He supplied fresh horses for the train and refreshments for the passengers. Also, worthy of note, on February 22nd, 1861, a special train stopped here briefly as President-elect Abraham Lincoln got off that train, and he addressed a crowd of several thousand people as he journeyed to his destiny in Washington, D.C. A little more than 4 event-filled years later, another special train passed by, but you see this one traveled in the opposite direction. This was the funeral train of Abraham Lincoln on its sad journey back to Illinois. Paradise, change here for Coatesville, Paoli, Philadelphia.